Good afternoon and welcome to my review of the year 2020 on my channel. Well, I thought like some other YouTubers, I'd do a review of the year 2020, what happened on my channel. I'd just like to point out that I'll be going through things in, when they actually happened, not when my videos come up on YouTube, because it's usually about a month before videos actually appear on my channel, because I have quite a few made in advance. Anyway, I've got quite a bit to go through, so let's just dig straight in. So in January was a month the Citroen went through the MOT, and as usual it failed. And the biggies were the handbrake cables and the front coil springs, which did explain a noise I'd heard when I was driving home from work one day. It sounded like something fell off. Turned out it was the bit of the coil spring that had broken off, and it got picked up on the MOT. And also one of the struts wasn't quite secure. So once that was all fixed, got another MOT for a year. And the other major thing, although the video didn't appear, was buying this, my DeWalt DCF 899 impact wrench, affectionately known as the Beast. So that is basically the month of January. So in the month of February marked the debut of a 2016 Ford Fiesta, which I did a little work on. And also I had a major problem on my Celica where it wouldn't start, it wouldn't even crank over. I think that spanned about 4 episodes in total. And I found out the problem was a main fuse blowing, which was caused by a stray wire, which was forming part of a coil to suppress radio interference on the alternator when the engine was running. But that took quite a bit of doing, and it involved buying a power probe to help me diagnose the electrical faults. And also I bought this second-hand, just a smaller impact driver, a DeWalt DCF 887, which is handy for the smaller jobs. It uses the same battery as the Beast. But unlike the Beast, I didn't buy it brand new. About 100 quid brand new. I found it for about £47 delivered on eBay. So I thought, well, that's worth it. And if it goes wrong, they're easily repaired. That's one of the reasons I went for DeWalt. And I think the two quite complement each other quite nicely. So that's basically what happened in the month of February. I forgot to mention that I also did the microwave challenge, which was scrapping a microwave oven in the quickest time. Now I managed to post one of the slowest times, so I thought I'd better mention that as well. Unfortunately, March wasn't a particularly good month. The biggest one was the passing of Joanna. She died on the 20th, and she was only 43 years old, and literally a day short of her birthday. And it was a garage that I had use of, so I thought I was going to lose the garage. But I did get a bit of a reprieve because one of her sisters took the house on, but we'll discuss more of that later on. And the other bad thing was the introduction of lockdown in the UK in response to the coronavirus pandemic, which did cause a few problems. And the other thing, I can't remember off the top of my head, I've got to refer to my papers. Oh yes, my daily driver, the C4 Grand Picasso, and it was getting difficult to start. I took it down to Alford's, and they seemed to think it needed a new battery. They couldn't confirm anything, and I was able to confirm what Alford's failed to do was to diagnose a faulty alternator. So I got a replacement, got that fitted, and it's been fine ever since. So that's the month of March. So not much to mention in the month of April. Obviously, restrictions were continuing, which restricted things somewhat. Did find a problem with the BMW was a bit of a knocking sound coming from the rear right. So first thing I found was a broken coil spring, which would have failed an MOT anyway, so they got replaced. Unfortunately, I didn't cure the problem, which turned out to be the rear trailing arm bushes, so I got a new set of them. So that was sorted, or so I thought. So that's basically what happened in the month of April. So what happened in May with the big electrical problem sorted and the Celica running again? It was back to trying to find out why the thing isn't running right. So one thing I need to eliminate was the brakes binding. So I managed to free off the front calipers, you know, pushing the pistons in and out. Or was it the rear ones? I think, no, it was the rear ones that need to push in and out. But the front ones were a bit different. They were still binding, so I ended up taking them off and literally popping them out using a bit of compressed air, and that managed to free them off. It didn't cure the problem, but it eliminated one possible problem. The BMW, I had to fix a non-working boot light. Fortunately, it was it was a broken wire in the loom going from the boot to the body, so that wasn't too bad. And another long-standing problem I've had with a BMW ever since I bought it was the door cards. The cloth was coming off the door card, so I just tried gluing it on with some contact adhesive, and it was partly successful, a bit better than before, but not a total success. But it's as good as it's going to be getting. Short of replacing the door cards, and I think, oh yes, and I finally bought my first petrol mower. I picked that up right at the end of May, so I did quite a few videos on that, probably into June. So we'll move on to that month. So June was a bit more positive, and I reached 2,000 subscribers, which is a bit of a milestone on my channel, and I'm just edging towards 2,500 as I'm making this video. And June also marked the debut of a few cars on the channel. The first one was a 2013 F30 BMW 318 that belongs to my partner's son. Needed a few things doing to it. I was trying to find a suspension knock, which I wasn't able to do, and I managed to fix a long-standing problem with one of the rear lights as well, which only cost £5 to fix. It was just the plug for the tail light cluster, so that was quite an easy fix. And two other cars that appeared on the channel was a 2011 Seat Ibiza and a 2011 BMW X1, which needed just new brake pads all round. And discovered the pretty much a 3 Series underneath is the X1 of that era, the E9, just an E93 Series underneath. So that's that for the month of June. So July wasn't particularly positive. I got evicted from the garage by the occupiers of the house. They owned the X1. So I had to do something with all my tools, so I just put all my stuff into storage, and I built this shed, which is documented pretty much throughout July. I think that, well, obviously the videos didn't come out straight away, but that's what I was doing in July. The shed build did have a bit of help of Ben next door. He did give me a hand with some of the construction, but most of it I did it myself, and with the help of my impact driver, a miter saw, and a drill. Spending quite a few £100, but it's worth it. I got my own place to work. I can even make videos from here, which is good. I think I've even appeared on Paddles on live stream from here. I found the Wi-Fi is not so good in here. I don't know what's blocking, whether it's the house or the shed. It could be both, but I don't get a good Wi-Fi signal here, so I have to use 4G. But that's basically what July was, dominated by the shed build. August saw the conclusion of the shed build. The Citroen got its 6-monthly engine oil and oil filter change. And I also featured a couple of generators I rescued around about the time of the shed build. There's a unit just across here that was being cleared out, and obviously a lot of stuff was being put into a skip. We got permission to do a bit of the old dumpster diving, and actually you see the boarding. A lot of this board was actually scavenged from the skip, which that saved me a few quid on the build. And I also rescued a couple of generators and got them going again. I've got one underneath here, the 2 strokes under this bench, and Ben decided to have the other one, which I've got going, but it's not generating electricity, so I'll probably have to look at that in a future video. And the other thing for August, I actually gave the Triumph Dolomite a bit of attention. I basically washed it, with the hope of working on it at some point. And I pulled the battery out, and it was still holding charge after 2 years. After 2 years, I bought it new 2 years ago, previously, and it was still holding charge. I put it on the charger, and to this day it's still holding its charge. So at least I know the battery's good. So that's that for the month of August. So in September, I did the 40 questions challenge, revealed a few things about myself. I was asked, the third generator video was done in September. Now, because the lockdown restrictions had been eased by this time, we did actually get the one and only outing of 2020 in our touring caravan. But there was one problem with it. The water heater were leaking. And I found out it was actually the pressure release valve that had stopped working. So I managed to get a new one for about something like 12 quid. And unfortunately, as soon as I was trying to remove it, it just broke off. Because after 20 odd years, probably 25, 26 years, it'd all become brittle. So I ended up having to chisel it out piece by piece and fit the new one in. And I'm glad to say it fixed the problem with that. Because with the water heater, after every out now, I always drain it down. And you don't have any problems with it freezing or whatever. It's better that way. It helps it to last longer. And the other thing that happened in September was Van True reached out to me again and asked me if I want to taste one of their latest models of dash cam. And they said they would obviously reimburse me the cost of the dash cam. I had to pay for it up front, so they refunded me half the price when I'd received it, and the other half once I'd done a review on Amazon. And obviously I did a YouTube video on it as well, and you've probably seen that on dashcam videos now. Quite a good camera. It's not a battery one. It don't have a battery. It has a super capacitor, which is handy. I think that's going to be the way forward. Not lithium batteries, super capacitors. And the other thing I did in September was to repair our washing machine. It stopped working, but we needed one with a bigger capacity, so we bought a new one with a bigger capacity, and then realised I could repair the old one, so just needed a new motor for the drain pump. Fixed it and sold it for 60 quid, and it's giving the new owner good service. So that's that for September. So in October, I had a problem with the Citroen. It was this heater blower motor, which I've since scrapped out, which you'll be seeing on a future video. It stopped working. At first I thought it was the resistor, and I managed to get the heater to spin, but that turned out not to be the case. It was actually the motor itself. I think the brushes had gone, but yeah, I had a look at this, and you can't replace the brushes in these, so you got to replace the whole lot. So after a bit of messing around, I ended up having to get a second-hand heater blow motor on eBay, and that's fixed the problem. It's been fine ever since. And what was the other thing in October? Oh yeah, saw the appearance of a 2007 VW Beetle, and had a few things wrong with it, which were going to fail the MOT. So I managed to get them sorted out. So that was basically the month of October. So come November, we were back in lockdown in England anyway. So that meant we couldn't do anything much on that. I discovered a lost video from on my Vectra. I tried fixing the vents on that. I'd shot the video, but for whatever reason I didn't bother to edit it. I still had the footage, so I thought, I'll make for a useful video, even though it was actually a fail. Again, back keeping it real. And the other thing I've started was giving an insight into how I actually make my videos, which I'm hoping will be useful to others and give inspiration. Because one thing you don't copy anyone else. You can get ideas and inspiration from others, but it's always best to do your own thing and develop your own style. So that is the month of November. Which takes us into this month of December, which is not quite finished yet. The big one, the main event of the month was the BMW's MOT, which it actually passed without having to spend any money on repairs, which is quite good. And testament to the previous work I'd done, the broken spring and the trailing arm bush. And I'll get back to that, because the original the bushes I fitted rubber bushes, and they didn't work. They were slopping around. So I ended up putting Powerflex bushes in, which locates a bit better and probably tightens the handling up a bit. But you know, some people did say that the creak, and you do hear it if you hit a speed bump at any speed, but it's not a daily driver. To me, that's not an issue. So that is it for the year. And I hope you enjoy this video, review my channel over the last year. You know, marred by the things I've mentioned earlier on. So please remember to like, subscribe, share, ring the notification bell. Then you get notified when one of my videos comes out. So, as ever, thanks for watching. I'll see thee. And that's not the end of this video, because I'll show you the videos I've already made, which will be coming up on the channel in the new year. So I'll give you a quick montage of what's to come that I've already shot.